St. Peter's United Methodist Church. We've journeyed far since that first worship gathering at the West Memorial Elementary School in 1977.
For quite a while, we met at the gymnasium, of course. I remember having to get there early each morning to crawl in under the stage, drag out the folding chairs, and set them up for the service.
Mm-hmm. And then reverse it at the end of the service.
Yeah, at the end of the service.
It wasn't long before those first visionaries broke ground on property of their own, land where St. Peter's continues to thrive and grow today.
So they wanted a church that would cater to young families, to help them in their growth and provide a spiritual focus to grow with the community.
Why have we stayed at St. Peter's? St. Peter's is our church home. Our children were confirmed here. Our daughter was married here. Our son and his wife and our daughter and her husband are active members here. The 4 grandchildren were all baptized here. They all have attended or are attending the ECDC here. They attend Sunday school here. It's our church home.
Few of those who attended worship that first Sunday at West Memorial Elementary School, or that first Sunday on Kingsland Boulevard, or even that first Sunday in the present sanctuary, could have imagined all that God had in store for St. Peter's. Thanks to their dreams, their vision, their faith, the gifts from their hearts, the work of their hands, each of our lives has been touched by this church family, our church family, St. Peter's United Methodist Church.
St. Peter's is a large congregation with a small church feel. People are very welcoming here, and they're always glad to have new folks come in and join their small groups.
I feel that St. Peter's greatest strengths are its friendliness, its welcomeness to new members, making people feel not only welcome but part of the church family immediately when you come into the church.
When I think of St. Peter's, the first thing I think of is that song that we sing as we leave every Sunday, the We Are St. Peter's. And St. Peter's has such a family feel to it. It is family to me, and it has always been family to me.
St. Peter's means many things to many people, both within our church family and in our community. For some, St. Peter's United Methodist Church means vital traditional worship, reminding us who we are and whose we are, where we've come from, and where we're going. For some, St. Peter's United Methodist Church means vibrant music ministries.
One of our great strengths here at St. Peter's is our music program. We begin with choir for the very young, and it goes all the way up to our adult chancel choir.
Connecting our hearts to the heart of God through the language of rhythm, melody, and harmony. For some, St. Peter's United Methodist Church means fellowship and spiritual growth, both for ourselves and for our children.
Something I've experienced here at St. Peter's is the Wednesday night bounce program. I thought what we do is every week a speaker and a music guest come in and perform, and it's a real good ministry to the kids and really impactful.
I think that St. Peter's has really helped to lay the foundation for my life of discipleship.
Many of us came to know St. Peter's United Methodist Church initially through her tremendous community outreach. Groups like Mother Share Group, Scouting, and especially the Early Childhood Development Center reach far beyond the walls of St. Peter's into the surrounding communities to share God's love and grace with all. Countless lives have been profoundly impacted by the extensive caring ministries of St. Peter's.
Our care ministry is just so great here, and how supportive our congregation is. The congregation here is just so welcoming and so supportive.
And it's just so powerful of a witness to that care team to hear how important a card or a phone call or even a bowl of soup can be. It seems like something very simple, but it can be life-changing for those individuals when they experience that deep love and caring that we have to offer as a church.
I was just a totally lost soul before I came to St. Peter's. And they have brought me in and brought me into the Sunday school class, got me involved in other activities, and it's just helped me make a life here.
4 years ago I became a member, and at the same time as when I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And St. Peter's probably been the single biggest impact on my life and my children's life.
For many of us, St. Peter's United Methodist Church means the opportunity to be involved in life-changing mission and service to God's world.
St. Peter's has always been a very mission-minded church. That's one of the things that drew my family here about 15 years ago.
The youth group here has so many opportunities for youth to participate in missions, and that's one of the wonderful things about this church, is that it does value mission, and it understands that our calling is not for ourselves only, but to go out, to reach out, to be not only for those in our community, but all around the world.
Building on the tradition of those who have gone before us, we who are St. Peter's today continue to give from our hearts and work with our hands to share God's love and grace with our neighbors in Katy, around the city of Houston, throughout the state of Texas, even to the ends of the world. It truly is amazing what God has done and continues to do through St. Peter's United Methodist Church.
With a restored budget, just imagine what St. Peter's United Methodist Church could do.
I've seen the ministries of St. Peter's really take a second chair to just keeping the facilities open, paying the bills, utilities are going up. I would love to see that money just reinvested in the ministries of St. Peter's.
The first dollar would be spent getting raises for my staff that they deserve.
Numbers of kids leaving this youth organization and the impact that Sandra Robertson is having on them with their life change. And through their work, I see us having the highest potential to change the world.
Long-term projects that St. Peter's should be involved in, youth trips, outreach programs like Army, Lakeview, Rainbow Camp, because they're already known for that.
Interpersonal skills for our teens, working together to solve problems, representing Christ, because I think that'll help in their families to come, and it'll also help in the schools.
There's been some money in our budget now for, I think they called it Latchkey Children. It was a program that someone really had a heart for, to provide a place for junior high and younger high school students to come after school. Not to have to go home to an empty house or to activities they shouldn't be involved in. And there's seed money there. We don't have the facilities. We don't have the gym. We don't have the computers, the homework places. And that's something I'd really like to see St. Peter's grow into as we pay off that debt and have additional money available.
The first place I would spend $1 would be community outreach. I know that we have a lot of families in need that we try to help individually, but it would be a lot better to have a place to represent St. Peter's within the community.
We have a lot of people, a lot of families in Katy that are homeless, and we already do something for the homeless kids in Katy through KISD, but there's a lot more we can do for these families, and I'd like to see us put the money toward that.
I think a key part is continuing to outreach into the community, to share God's grace with those outside, and to continue to make disciples of Christ.
All the ministers have been asked the last 2 or 3 years to hold their budgets in line because the costs were increasing. And part of those costs is that debt. And I'm so excited about the debt going away so those ministries can just explode at St. Peter's.
The first dollar would be so that adults classes would not have to pay half of their Sunday school budget for the literature.
If I had a restored budget, one thing that in relation to that I would like to do is offer Vacation Bible School free of charge.
I think my long-term dream for St. Peter's would be to have a gymnasium. I think all the major churches in the area have one, and I think it's a wonderful tool and outreach ministry for people to come to gather and to engage their families and to have wonderful activities.
If it were Covenant Club, the first place I would spend it would be so that the adults who go to the retreats with the kids would be able to go free.
My long-term dream project is that we have an outreach center off campus, somewhere else on the west or southwest side of Katy.
Well, the first dollar and a few to follow after that, for me, no doubt would go towards starting a new worship service to provide an alternative worship service here at St. Peter's. I think it would extend our ministry to our community. There's a lot of people who would love to be involved in the life of St. Peter's, who, for them, perhaps traditional worship isn't what draws them closer to God. And just the more that we can do to make more people feel at home at this church, I think is a good thing.
I think the two things that God really wants for us here at St. Peter's United Methodist Church in this experience that we're going through together are two things. I think the first thing is He wants us to include Him in each and every individual decision that we make. And the way we can do that is to pray a very, very simple prayer that we've been hearing about. And that's the prayer, Lord, what do you want to do through me? I think that as we pray this prayer, if we will do it faithfully, and if we will do it expecting a sense of God's response to us, I think that in itself will give us a great and wonderful idea and direction of what He wants us to specifically do in response to this hearts and hands time that we share together. I think the other part has to do with deciding what we're going to do. When we think about an equal share and an equal sacrifice, I think one is economic and one is theological. When we talk about equal share, we're talking about an economic issue, I think. And that is that not everyone can participate in this kind of a giving opportunity on an equal plane in terms of equal share. That's just economics to me. What makes this spiritual and what makes this holy is the opportunity to do something sacrificially. When I do something sacrificially, when my brother and sister decides what we can do in giving a gift sacrificially, is every one of those gifts become important. It may be a small gift compared to a larger gift, but both of those are extremely important. They're very valuable in God's sight, and they're valuable because they were created and given out of a need and a want to sacrifice. And I believe that that's what God is calling us to do, to be sacrificial in our giving and to pray to Him and to ask Him what He wants to do through us.
St. Peter's United Methodist Church, a rich heritage with bold dreams for the future. Together, as we all give from our hearts and work with our hands, we can grasp by faith all that we can imagine. We are St. Peter's.
Give me your hand, and will ask God to keep us safe until we shall meet once again in this place. My heart and your heart are beating with one accord, afire with the love of the Lord. Bless you, my brother, and bless you, my sister. May God walk beside you while we are apart, walking in faith and committed to excellence. Born in His love, we are safe in His arms. Standing as one, we are St. Peter's, going out to serve. Born in His love.
I think you can hug.
Years older than when they joined this church.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so
for
much.
that.